Hi, this is Danny Peters and Kevin Nix coming to you live from Phoenix Raceway. We had rain yesterday here in the desert. Luckily today we did not have rain, but we did have fireworks on the track and a big win for Aric Almirola. Talk us through how you saw that last lap pass on Alex Bowman.
Yeah, so the final restart as a whole was just pretty crazy, honestly. We got to backtrack a little bit. So Justin Allgaier was cruising to the win, and then there was a crash in the closing laps. We had an overtime restart. Allgaier got loose in turn one, almost wrecked. It allowed Bowman and Almirola to get through, and then both of them settled it amongst themselves at the end. Going into turn three, Almirola got into Bowman, moved him up the racetrack, and then kind of like rubbed him against the wall en route to the checkered flag, and they finished side by side. The final gap was about 45 1,000th of a second.
And how did you see that move there from Almirola? And was that just one of them racing deals, a fair move at the end to win the race?
I think so. I think the bigger factor was because neither Almirola nor Bowman were racing for points. If, like, let's say it was like Allgaier or something, or like a Jesse Love that was racing alongside Almirola, I feel like that would be less acceptable. But there's almost always take more risk when all you're there to do is win. So, like, Bowman's not racing for points, Almirola's not racing for Almirola's not racing for points. So I thought it was pretty fair. He didn't wreck him. He didn't spin him out. I'd say it was just before, like, borderline, in my opinion. But I thought it was fair game, especially coming to the checkers.
It was a disappointing afternoon for Allgaier. As you said, Allgaier was cruising to a victory then there in the race and had led a bunch of laps. But unlike in November when he had that beautiful day in that first championship, today was not to be, and he ended up with a 5th place finish. How did you see his race today?
Yeah, no, like I said earlier, he had the race won until the final caution. Like, he was pretty comfortably far ahead. I don't know what it is about this place in the spring for Allgaier. It's just something has just happened to him to force him out of the win when he was just well on his way to doing so. I'm not sure if it's just like a curse or something, but it is very disappointing for Allgaier. Like, he had the race won. I was very confident he was going to win if he did not have the yellow at the end there. So it's got to sting. I know he finished 5th, I believe, but definitely stunned.
And if you want to hear a little bit more on Allgaier's take, we had an interview with him after the race, and he had a great golfing analogy for it all. So he'll be hoping to come back here and do a little bit better in November. It was a rough day, though, for Austin Hill, who wrecked in turn 4. What did you see of that incident?
Yeah, his incident was really strange. I've only ever seen it one other time, and that was Gregson a couple years back in North Wilkesboro. He turned and hit the inside wall on entry, and it just shot him right back at the racetrack. I don't think I've ever seen that happen during a points race. It was very unusual. Austin Hill talked about it in the care center. He said it was just a driver error. He just made a mistake. He just messed up. It was not a mistake he expected to make. He felt pretty embarrassed about it afterward, but he said he's just going to move on to next week and try to put it behind him. But it was definitely unusual. I was not expecting to see that incident happen.
Tomorrow we have the Cup race, and we're going to see an option tyre tomorrow. So what are you expecting to see from that option tyre? We certainly heard some drivers talking about it today, having used it in the practice session.
Yeah, a lot of drivers they were really positive about the tire today. Denny Hamlin in particular, one of his quotes stuck with me. He said, well, we should literally copy and paste this option tire for all short tracks and road courses. So Denny was basically overwhelmingly positive, and he was not the only one. I'm expecting a race pretty similar to what we saw at Richmond last year, where aside from the controversy at the end, the racing was really compelling throughout because of the option tire. And I think we might see something similar tomorrow. So a lot of the drivers, they liked how much it fell off. They liked how much more control they had in the cars. So I think it's going to be a good show.
I mean, some of the drivers talked about how quickly that tire did fall off, though. So it will be a question tomorrow of when and how to use that option tire. At what point of the race do you use it? Do you save it for a late race restart, or do you use it to get ahead earlier in the race? It will be interesting to see tomorrow.
Yeah, it definitely will be. I think a lot of it will be dependent on, like I said, will we have a caution close to the end of the race? I would imagine most teams would try to save it until that point, but if not, maybe there's a team like at 15th or 20th, and then they just nail the setup, they use the tire to get to the front and get clean air. So there's a lot of strategy that can be used here. Tire management will be very important.
Well, we'll have to see what happens tomorrow, but this is Danny Peters and Kevin Nix checking out for the night from Phoenix, and we will catch you again tomorrow with another edition of Post-Race Conversation.
The vivid EV anthem is the essence of American spirit. Made with lithium battery technology, this neighborhood electric vehicle features vibrant colors, diamond stitch seats, and seats up to 6. It isn't just made in America, it's made for America.
Trenton Worsham with Frontstretch.com. Come back for more great racing videos. And if you like us, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.